Okay, we're ready to call the funeral home. So you'll want to have your questions ready. You don't need to take any notes here. All of these questions will be included in the forms section on the DVDs.
Cornell Funeral Home, this is Carlene. May I help you?
I would like to talk with someone about direct cremation.
I'd be able to answer your questions.
Okay, what do you charge for direct cremation, and could you tell me what's included in the price?
Our charge for a simple cremation is $695. That includes us going to the place of death and making the removal, sitting down and meeting with the family, filing of all the necessary paperwork with the county and getting the permits that are required. It also includes the alternative container, which is required by law, and it includes a basic hard plastic urn. The only other charge to you would be for certified copies of the death certificate, and the state charges $20 per certified.
Okay, is there a charge for every day that the body is refrigerated before it's actually cremated?
No, we don't charge an extra fee for that. That's all included in the $695.
Okay. And if I need help with VA stuff, if I want my urn to be placed up at the National Cemetery, is there a charge for that?
No, we'd help you with all that paperwork. We would just need for you to bring in a copy of the discharge paperwork for the veteran.
Okay. And I haven't written very many obituaries. Is that something you can help me with too? And is there a charge for that?
No, we don't charge for that. We'd be happy to help you write that and also submit it to the paper that you wanted it to run in.
Oh, okay. What about a nighttime removal charge?
We don't charge anything extra for overtime removals. It doesn't matter if the death occurs in a hospital or at a home. Our charges are just the same at $695.
Oh, okay. I called around a little bit, and it seemed to me that that was a standard charge for a lot of funeral homes. That they told me it was they pay their staff overtime, so they had to charge between $150 and $250.
We do have to pay staff on going out, but we don't charge that to the family. It's our standard rate at $695.
Oh, wow. It's all kind of surprising. I do have a pacemaker, and so I'm wondering what the charge is to remove that. Naturally, there would be a charge.
Well, we don't charge for that, and you're correct. That would have to be removed in the case of a cremation, but we remove that prior to the cremation being done, and there's no charge to have that taken out.
I know it sounds a little nuts, but I think I heard batteries explode or it causes damage or something.
Yes. Because of the battery in the pacemaker with the heat that happens during a cremation, that is exactly right. It would explode and cause damage to the equipment, so that is why it needs to be removed.
Okay. Certified copies of the death certificate. Do you know how much those are and what I would need them for?
Places that are going to ask you for actual certifieds or any life insurance policies that you're going to make a claim against, any personal property that's only in the name of the deceased where a title needs to be transferred, you would need a certified. Again, if you had any stocks or special accounts through a stockbroker that is only in your name, they would ask for a certified to transfer the stock. Most other places would take photocopies, and when you make your initial order, the state does charge $20 per certified. If you need any additionals, you just phone us, and they're the same price of $20 each. And we can get additionals if it's in Pierce County within 24 hours. King County usually takes a couple of days, but we can get additionals as well from them.
So that's not even a charge for your funeral home. That's just something that is a direct county charge?
Yes. The $20 is what the state charges. We don't charge any additional on top of our fees to get those for you.
Okay. So from start to finish, say I pass away and you come out and make the removal, how long does it take to go from that to picking up the urn and death certificates?
Well, just so you kind of know the process, once we make the removal, the next business day is when I start the work with the doctor in processing of the death certificate. A doctor can take anywhere from 24 to 72 hours to sign off on a death certificate. Once we receive that back here at the funeral home, then I file it with the county to get the permit that's required. That, along with the authorization that a family member signs, then we have permission to do the cremation. Then I get in line at the crematory. It's usually 2 to 3 days before I get the urn back. So usually from start to finish, it's about a 6 to 7 day process.
If I choose to use your funeral home, how and when would I be expected to pay for this?
We usually accept payment at the time of making the arrangements, but if you can't do that, then we would just ask for payment once the cremation has been completed. So it's either when we sit down initially or about a week later. If you have a life insurance policy that you wanted to use to make payment, we would help you with that paperwork. We do what they call an assignment form, and the insurance company would pay us directly for the charges.
Okay. I know you have a price list of some kind. Can you?
I'd be happy to mail that to you.
Great.
Yes, just give me your name and address, and I'd be happy to mail you a price list, and I can also mail you a brochure. And then with any questions from that, you could just give us a call back.
Okay, great. You have been very, very helpful. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I'm ready to finalize my plans with a funeral director for direct cremation. I made an appointment and drove to the funeral home where I met with the owner, Brian Curnow. I verified the price I was given over the phone and then asked to see the plastic urn included in his basic cremation charge. He did have other urns available, but I told him my husband would be scattering my ashes, so we wouldn't need anything more than the plastic urn. I signed the cremation authorization, and Brian asked me questions while he filled out a death certificate worksheet on my behalf. We left a few spaces blank, like the date of death, county of death, and time of death. Brian took a few minutes and worked up the statement of goods and services. Now I could decide if I wanted to pay for the direct cremation by way of a trust or perhaps an insurance policy. And that completes direct cremation. It took about 20 minutes. I felt calm and in control the whole time. And if I had brought in a signed cremation authorization and a completed death certificate worksheet, I would have been finished in half the time. So if I died in January of 2009, my husband would pay the funeral home about $1,000 for my final arrangements with direct cremation. He would need at least 5 certified copies of my death certificate and most likely would want a modest obituary run in our local paper. The funeral home would help him write the obituary, but the paper charges an extra fee for a photograph and a set fee for each line of text, something to keep in mind the next time you consider writing a lengthy obituary with a photograph. Cost should be a natural consideration when making final arrangements for yourself or someone you love. In my case, I have a choice to make between a burial at about $7,000 and a direct cremation at about $1,000, and that's on the low side of final arrangements. The average service charge for direct cremation in King and Pierce County is $1,500. That does not include death certificate copies or an obituary. Make some phone calls and comparison shop, or prepare to pay a lot more than I will. If you want a burial, be responsible and start your homework today. Like cremation, there are vast swings in price at each funeral home for the same services and products. Funeral home fees are a non-regulated entity. Prices can change at any time. Like most other businesses, prices seem to increase every year. Stop being fearful and get on the phone. Print off the telephone questions and start gathering your price information. Tell your family what kind of arrangements you want, and then put it in writing. If you want to be cremated, authorize it today. Everyone should fill out a death certificate worksheet, whether your plans are for cremation or burial. So what are you waiting for? Go print off your forms and start making smart choices about final arrangements. Talk to your family and friends about this DVD and demystify the death care industry.